My son Franklin, he is 11 years old. This year was his first year in sixth grade. He has been diagnosed with ADHD, OCD, ODD, and multiple things. So when he was transitioning into middle school, which is where this story begins with Brighton, Zoom started, and I saw some, we're at home, I'm home with him, and I saw some things happening in the classes. He was kicked out of some classes for not paying attention, and I'm like, whoa, wait, he's supposed to have extra time on this, he's supposed to be able to take breaks, so when he asks for a break, you can't say no, you can't have a break, you don't just kick him out of the class, it's all part of his thing. I was sending emails to teachers and getting no responses because they were telling me he's in middle school, he has to respond to this now. And I'm like, but this is a 504 thing. And then school started and they tried to put him into a regular classroom. And I'm like, what about the redirection? He's supposed to be in redirection, his 504, he's supposed to have a redirection and a social skills. So they moved him into the redirection class. So one day I get a letter from the director and it basically says, we can't accommodate your son. He is, if he does one more thing wrong, we're kicking him out of the program. This can't be right. None of this falls anywhere within his IEP, it can't be right. So at that point I was really emotional, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. My son's not in a wheelchair, and he doesn't have Down syndrome, and he walks into the room and he looks like a normal kid. He looks like every other normal kid, but he's not. And so I feel like they treated him like he should act like a normal kid, and he should be a normal kid, and his mind thinks differently, and he's bright, and he's special, and he's smart. And I just felt like he is surrounded by doctors and educated people over there that should let you think with the higher education that they have should just be enlightened by the fact that we have different ways of thinking that are still brilliant and creative, and instead of working with that to make it better, they stifled it. So I called a colleague or a friend who I know. She was like, I went to this program and it was for Any Baby First. She was like, and there was a speaker there from Brighton, and they they're there for the kids, but they work with parents. And I was like, what do you mean they work with parents? And she was like, well, they help the parents. And I'm like, what do you mean they help the parents? And she was like, well, they can go over all this stuff with you. And I was like, okay. So I got online and I started looking around. I was like, let's give it a call, right? And then I got an email back saying, Juan was gonna call me back, and I got a call immediately. I've got a lot of sympathy from people who have helped in the past or people who have heard my story, but I felt empathy now. Now it was I know what you're going through because I've seen it. I know what you're going through because I've been with other people who have gone through it. And so I was like, wow, someone who actually understands. And so he was like, I've read through this and I've read the letters and I've gone through everything, and this is not whatever. He's like, we need to do we need an MDR. And I'm like, an MDR. And as soon as I said MDR, I got a phone call from the superintendent's office. And I was like, I want an MDR. And they're like, oh, no. We don't need an MDR. Let's just have an ARD review. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. It started off really hot, to be honest with you, because we went back and forth with this is what your son did, and I went back and forth with this is what you did because you did not follow his plan. And then the director proceeded to say, you know, like, well, I didn't even look at his behavioral IEP. I just looked at his grades. And because of his behavior, I don't think he fits in the program. And then they were like, well, we also want to do some extra testing to make sure that he is not, that he's not emotionally disturbed, that he can even stay here. And I was like, asking one, is that okay? And he was like, I don't see why not. And I'm like, okay, test him for whatever you want, because I'll do whatever you want me to do, because if he is, I want to know. And if he isn't, like, I want you guys to know that I complied with everything you asked me to do. So he's been on the plan. He hasn't had one incident, knock on wood, since this happened. And not only has he not had one incident since this happened, he just currently in February got Falcon Student of the Month for the entire 6th grade of the entire program. I know, right? I just want to say thank you. I could not have done this without Juan, and I wouldn't have Juan without Brighton.
Franklin's family is not much different from a lot of the families that we serve here at Brighton Center. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're not being heard, where you feel like the things that you bring to the table, the things that you bring to the committee are not being taken into consideration for your child, give us a call. When you feel like you're pretty well versed and you just need some guidance, you know, push in the right direction, you know, feel free to give us a call or fill out the inquiry form at our website. We're more than happy to help you guys out. There's nothing that's more effective than a parent that knows.